Hello, Acarja. That's about the height of Irish that I know. Is my Caucamillish. That isn't the most Irish thing possible, then I don't know what is. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Keilidh. I'm an Irish makeup artist and yeah, I do a lot of different videos on my channel. But for today's video, I'm going to be trying out and reviewing the new Morphe 24G palette. The 24G Grand Glam palette. We all know Morphe has stepped up their game with their packaging, more expensive looking, I guess. This is what it looks like here. The pans are much bigger. I believe they're twice the size of normal Morphe eyeshadows. This is 3502, this is the 24G. So you can see there is a massive difference in size. First off the bat, what is my impression of this new palette? So honestly, I feel like if you have got any other Morphe palettes, so say like if you have got the 3502, then you probably have a lot of the colours that are in this already. Now I have to say I do actually prefer the pan sizes being bigger. I feel like in a lot of other Morphe palettes, a lot of the colours in the palettes, because there is so many, can actually end up being very, very similar. So I feel like this palette is kind of taking the most essential and most loved colours and just making them bigger, which is obviously what we want. This is just a gorgeous, warm and neutral palette. I think it retails for $29, so I'll leave that here what it is in euro. I'm pretty sure Morphe have a UK site as well, but if not, you can actually buy Morphe off Cloud 10, Beauty Bay and places like that. Without pin, Smelly Customs. Woo! It's actually not out until the 16th of January. So it does come with this little card to show you like all the names of the eyeshadows. Again, I wish the names were on the palette just because I lose these all the time, but it's fine, it's fine. Okay, so let's jump into the tutorial. I'm actually going to create a look similar to what I did on my Instagram. In the last few days you guys loved it and wanted a tutorial, so I thought I'd do something similar. Maybe vamp it up a little bit more. Without further ado, let's go. So starting off with this shade here called Frenchie. It's just a really nice yellowy brown. All about that life. I'm going to take that on my Inglot 48 SS brush, which is just a small fluffy crease brush. So I'm using the same base as what I do every other time I do my makeup. I'm using the Helene base. It does dry matte, so there's absolutely no need to set it. I never set my eyeshadows anyway. I find if you do that, they won't come out as pigmented, especially with Morphe eyeshadows, because I find Morphe eyeshadows are a little bit more powdery. So any eyeshadow that is a little bit more powdery, 100% do not set your eyelid. But what I can say already from even just dipping into the palette is that these are, first of all, a lot more pigmented than normal Morphe eyeshadows. They're a little bit more like creamy, like there's not as much kickback with them when I'm dipping my brush in. I know some people don't like kickback, so they're just, I don't even know if they're reformulated, but they're definitely like pressed differently or something than like some other Morphe palettes that I have. They're definitely not as powdery and therefore are more pigmented. So I'm just messily applying this to the outer V and crease area. Then taking this shade here beside it called Creamer, my Inglot 46 SS brush, which is just a big blended brush. Taking just a tiniest amount of that and just blending the very edges of the shadow just to make sure it blends seamlessly into the skin. Because I am doing a half cut crease, I'm aware that I am going to be bringing all the darker colours right up into the crease as usual. Really sinking the brush into my eyeball socket there. It's just going to give me a guideline for when I want to cut my crease later on. What I will say is I feel like old Morphe palettes are great for like people who just want to do their makeup on themselves and like, you know, maybe people who are starting out in makeup, but these new Morphe palettes that they've been coming out with are insane. So much more pigmented, and I would say more suited as well towards the everyday person too, but makeup artists as well. People who do love to get like creative and have crazy amount of colours. Like look at that pigmentation. That's just 2 eyeshadow, guys. What the hell? Like that's just 2 eyeshadows and look how dark I have that. Like unreal. Moving on then, just taking a slightly smaller brush. This is the E202. I'm just going to take this shade here called Baked. It is a slightly darker yellowy brown. Applying that in the exact same way as the other colours, just keeping it a little bit closer to the lash line. I really enjoy this colour. It is the colour of poo, but I enjoy it. What I will say as well is I'm not like running my brush loads into these eyeshadows. I literally am just like pressing it in. That's how much I'm using. I'm actually whacking off the brush as well before I use it on my eyes. You can see as well I haven't got any fallout. I don't like to use an awful lot of eyeshadow. I just like picking up the tiniest amount and just really working it into my eye. And by not setting my base, I don't have to pick up loads. I remember working in a store, girls beside me would be whipping up sandstorms like with eyeshadows, and it's just not necessary, especially if you have good eyeshadows and if you don't set your base. Blending the edges of that poo colour with the previous eyeshadow. I like that they do have a dark yellowy tone brown, because that actually is quite hard to find. A lot of them are either like really warm or else really purpley or red. So that is what we're looking like here. I know it looks quite harsh, but I almost dropped the edge of this into the eyeshadow. Oh god, I'm sweating. Yeah, I know it looks quite harsh here, but that's just because the lid's really messy and whatnot, but I swear we'll get looking good in a while. So again, to darker the colour, the smaller the brush. I'm using this blank canvas E26 brush, and I'm taking this shade called Brew. Before I get this super dark and super smoky, I'm going to lightly carve out my crease using some concealer. Okay, this might seem complicated for a second, but just stay with me. I'm using my small Inglot lip brush to carve out my crease as always. It's the best brush for doing a cut crease. I find flat concealer brushes could be too big sometimes for different people's eye shapes, especially mine. So just tilting my head back so I can see my crease. So that's the kind of shape we should be looking for here. Rough shape, so that whenever I'm adding my dark blacks that I really know where to kind of focus it. It might seem a little bit complicated right now what I'm about to do, but it's not. This is the way to make it super easy for you guys. What I'm doing now is just taking my Inglot 77 gel liner mixed with a little bit of Duraline as always, just to make it a little bit more liquidy. I'm just going to very lightly draw in the outer portion of my liner. So I'm not bringing it the whole way across the lid. I'm just kind of getting the shape that I want first. Just because obviously I'm not finished on the lid, so if I was to do all my liner now, I'd be trying to avoid the liner later on. Now, the Duraline trick. Again, if you've been watching my page for a while, then you know about the Duraline trick, but if not, what I'm going to do is take a little bottle of Duraline, literally half a drop, not even, a little 13p brush, work that half drop into the brush so that the brush is like dry. I'm not just dipping it in and that's it, and having the brush soaking. I'm really working it into the brush. So what this is going to do is it's going to blend the outer portion of the gel liner. It's gonna make it super smoky. I know some of the UK artists like to blend black gel liner onto the outer portion to get it super dark, but that scares the crap out of me. Like black gel liner, that could go everywhere, do you know? So this is kind of like the safer version of it, I guess. So what I'm gonna do is pull downwards on the gel liner and work my way out. See how that's kind of dispersing the product slightly? Now I can be as messy as I want with this over the cut crease, because that is only a guideline cut crease, if you will. Then, before that dries, what I'm going to do is take my Morphe 2502 palette and this black called Whiz. It's the blackest black I've ever used. I'm using it on the same brush. I would never use black on any other brush bar this 13p. Going to press that where we want it to be. Like, do you see how black that is straight away? Like, oh my god. The reason why I like to do this, I guess, is having the kind of outer corner done is because I'm never happy enough with how dark I do my eyeshadows at first. I'm just going back in with the dark brown I used previously and a small little bullet brush. Bullet brushes are the most underrated eye brush of all time. They're so good for like blending. I feel like I'm never happy enough with how dark I do my eyeshadow once I put the black on. So that's why I like to do like a little fake crease first, so that I can darken everything up where I feel like is needed. I'm using the bullet brush just to add darker colours up into the crease here as well. So once you're happy enough with the darkness in the blend, we're gonna go in and really clean up our crease now. I'm gonna be using my 68 cream gel liner from Keilidh mixed with Duraline to make it more liquidy and just easier to spread across the eye. See, if I had done my liner fully at this stage, this is when it would be messing up and I'd have to go over it again, so there really was no point. Gonna set that then with some cream eyeshadow, just any cream eyeshadow really. Then just fill in our liner, like so. While that's just drying on top, I'm just gonna do the exact same colours that I did on top underneath. For a little bit of glow in the inner corner, I'm taking this shade here, Glazed. All of Morphe shimmer eyeshadows are insane, to be honest. I've always loved them. What I normally do is use them on, say, like a flat concealer brush, spray the brush, and they come out so intense. But I'm actually just going to take it on a little fluffy brush and just pop it onto the inner corner for a more softer effect. Still blinding. Look at that already. Like, look how pigmented that is. And that's on a dry, fluffy brush, for God's sake. So that there is the look just using the eyeshadows, and you can just see how pigmented and stuff it is. You can leave that at that if you want. You could just pop on an eyelash and call it a day. But you guys know me. Let's make this crazy. Okay, so I'm taking my Stila Magnificent Metal in Golden Goddess metallic eyeshadow. These were all over the internet in 2017. I think there is dupes for them by Essence or Technic, I think it is. Taking my teeny little paintbrush that you can get in the art and hobby shop for like $2.50. Similar to my last tutorial that I did on here, only this is slightly more creative. Just dunking a load of that onto like the inner portion of the eye. Having the black as a base gives that really cool like foiled effect, I feel. Once we get to the outer portion of the eye, what I'm actually going to do is just use whatever's left of my brush and just fade out the glitter. Now that's the look that I did on my Instagram that you all love, but I'm going to step it up another notch. Just using the same little brush, I'm actually going to curl the glitter around our blend that we have going on in here. Again, constantly fading out the glitter. I don't know, I think it gives like a really cool effect, especially since like the dark colours are underneath it. It just makes it look, I don't know, I haven't seen it done before, so I was like, It's super important though, just to make sure that you're using like little circular motions to blend it out while it's still wet, otherwise the glitter will chunk in certain areas. Then just taking my Keilidh 84 yellow gel liner, just gonna pop that into my waterline. Then just popping on some mascara and lashes. And that there is the finished look for you guys using the new Morphe 24G palette. So what are my overall thoughts, reviews on this palette? Honestly, Morphe have seriously upped their game when it comes to their eyeshadows. They're a lot more pigmented. There's not as much kickback. You don't have to work with them. You can see from the tutorial as well how easy they were to blend. There honestly was not an awful lot of hard work gone into this. It is a quite intricate look, if I do say so myself. To be honest, this is a really good trick if your eyeshadow isn't blending the way you want. Just throw a load of glitter on it. Not that that happened with this palette, as you could see. But yeah, super impressed with Morphe. So happy that the eyeshadows are a little bit bigger. Very impressed with this palette, and I will be doing more tutorials using it, so make sure to keep an eye out on my channel. So like I said, this palette is on sale, I believe, around the 16th of January. That's what it said on their page anyway. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial and learned something new and fun and different. I'll leave all other product details down below for you also. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below, and don't forget to subscribe also to see more of my videos. I've got tons of other eyeshadow tutorials and fun challenges over on my channel. If you haven't checked them out already, then go check them out. Thank you also to everyone who watched the video with me and Darren, my most recent challenge with him. So much love for it. You guys are insane. You always love when I bring Darren onto my channel. Basically, Darren picked out my makeup and told me how to use it while having a sheet in between us, so he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know if it's wrong or right. He forgets things. It's very funny. So you can go check that out if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye. If you did watch the video of me and Darren, then hello. I told yous I was gonna wear these more. I told yous. I swear I'm a stubborn. You tell me not to do something, I'm gonna go do it, alright?